talking to you.
We're having like a good conversation here, and it wasn't even recorded.
That was raw uncut.
Welcome to the Rootzone Podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Stout.
That'll be on the outtakes.
We got some video here. I'm excited, honored, and thrilled to have two guests on the podcast today. I am sitting to the left of Mr. Brian Finnegan and also Mr. Steve Pileggi. As you all know, you've heard my podcast. Steve Pileggi is my business owner or co-owner. We've been co-owners for multiple years here at Stout Lawn and Pest. Now we are Stout Lawn and Pest because we do indoor pest now. So we had
friends since the sandbox.
And friends, I mean, third grade, long, too long, if you ask. We got Brian Finnegan here, long time listener, first time guest. No, he's actually the second guest here on the Rootzone Podcast. We had Brian Finnegan back October 30th of 2023, so that was over a year ago. At the time, he was with his last job. We're going to call it the last job all day. So the last job was a service industry business for sure. So Brian has started something new, something fun, something interesting, and so that's why we want to have Brian on here to talk about it. Brian, how are we doing today?
Good. Appreciate it. Good to see you guys.
That was a long intro.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I know you're getting ready for the season here.
Yeah.
How you guys making out?
So far, so good. I love this time of year, Steve. This is when we. This is why we do all the hard work for 9 months.
Exactly. This is where all the hard work gets done in the winter.
This is awesome. Yeah. So definitely just decided to start my own thing. I always felt like there's just, if you want to start a business, it can be pretty overwhelming. So much that goes into it, but I'm really trying to just simplify it. People will say, like, why don't you start a plumbing business? There's a lot that goes into a plumbing business, a lot of overhead, a lot of expenses. So I decided I wanted to just try to just break it down. And now we were talking earlier about notebooks and your pad there. With everything, I just try to break it down into small pieces, small goals, and start knocking stuff out. Because if you look at, it's overwhelming every day. There's not enough time in the day for anybody to get it all done. So even with a small business, like I was just thinking, like, you got Eric back there maintaining machines, right? So if he ever decided he loves doing that and that's his passion, and he wanted to start his own small business and go to every lawn care company and say, I can take care of this piece for you once a year. I come in, it's $200, whatever it is. You don't have to make $1 million off every business. I think that's the feeling. It's like, how does that person live in that house? Like, oh, I got to get a good job and work my way up and hope the company takes care of me. A lot of people that live in those houses, they have multiple streams of revenue. They didn't get the good job that you didn't get. You know what I mean? So it's collectively. So if me starting this business, it turns into something I can do forever, and it's full time, but I also feel like I'm going to be doing multiple things. Not for like money reasons, but just, stuff I enjoy.
Well,
right?
Passive income. We talk a lot on the podcast, and last podcast we had two podcasts ago, we had Rob Trebadon, and we talked about, Grant Cardone 10Xing your life, and, I want to buy a plane and a boat and all that good stuff. But what it really comes down to is, like, what's going to make you happy? Where you stand in your business. So I guess on that line, you were with this last company for multiple years. You're in the plumbing industry for multiple years. Going from the plumbing industry, a service-based industry, to this new business venture, Divine Business Growth, where you're going to be basically a consultant, is a big change for you, for your family, for everyone. Of all the small businesses you could have started, is there a reason why you were drawn to consulting, or was it just another stream of revenue, like you said? I mean, me and Steve talk about it all the time. We love Stout Lawn and Pest, but I think back in the day when you looked at service industries, it was like, I'm going to hand this down to my son or my daughter, or it's going to be a generational thing. Well, I think in today's technology and how everything works with, private equity and just how business is now, that's not the ultimate game plan. And I'm even seeing it for plumbers, HVAC guys. The ultimate game is maybe not to build a business generationally, but to build a business to sell.
Yeah.
So back to the original question, what made you decide to go into, business consulting contrary to, I don't know, making pizzas or something.
Yeah. So the consulting piece would just be, that's what I enjoy. So they say, like, what do you enjoy? What are you good at? At a plumbing business, I'm good at growing the business and taking it to the next level. So any plumbing business, I know any plumbing business I go to, it's going to be here. When I leave, it's going to be here. Like, that's not being cocky. I just know what I bring to the table, right? So I was thinking for years, it was like I was in drains. And drains is like almost a separate piece of plumbing. I was in drains, and I got to work at a great company and learn a lot and be a fly on the wall, right? And I had the mentality, I'm the drain guy. You know, like, that's my piece. I got to figure it out for drains. But then as you go along and you get to be around very smart, successful people, and you start to learn that my piece is drains, but I'm sitting in meetings and it's an HVAC company. That's what they're talking about. HVAC, then plumbing, and drains is like the redheaded stepchild. But I'm still in the room learning. I'm in the conversations with HVAC and everything. I'm like, well, I don't know HVAC. I've never done a tune-up. I don't need to know how to do a tune-up. Every business breaks down to a W-2. A buddy told me that one time. It all breaks down to the same stuff, making money, right? So if I focus on how do I do it for drains, all the processes, procedures, it's all duplicated. So the HVAC stuff that they're doing, I'm sitting over there till midnight at the shop on the computer trying to figure out how do I implement this or do this. And then I start realizing, I start talking to other people in the meeting, how do you do this, right? They've already done the work. They spent years on it. They mastered it. They put thousands and who knows how much money into the HVAC piece to figure it out. So now I'm listening and I'm learning, and then I apply that to the drain piece, right? I'm like, oh man, that the drain department's doing really good. That guy, he figured it out. Somebody already did the work, right? I just learned. That's how a lot of us are. Like, you don't have to think everything up. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? So a lot of times we feel that way. I'm going to start a business. I have to take on all this and figure out everything, right? People have done it before us. So learn from somebody that's done consulting. So I can consult for a plumbing company today, a drain company today, an HVAC company today. But what I'd like to do is I truly do like helping people that maybe don't have support, right? So if I said to you, like, hey, how could I help you, right? And you say, we're good. We have it figured out. We're making the money that we need to make. Steve and me, we figured out. We got great family time. The money's where it needs to be. We have a team of people we love. They're happy. Everything's figured out, right? Or if you said, that's awesome. That's like the ultimate goal, right? If you said, well, we're trying to grow, we're trying to get more customers, we want to do this, we want to take it to here, then I would say, like, what's your plan? I would ask, what do you have planned for this year, right? So you guys are going up. Like, who's your competitors?
I mean, when we look at, we got national competitors, obviously, just like plumbing, just like any service industry. So you got the True Greens, the Lawn Doctors, Natural Lawn of America, like those people.
How big are they, I would say? Are they, like, nationwide or?
They hold probably closer or above 50% market share.
All right. So with that, you're going into 2025 against teams of people. Just monsters, right? You don't have to beat them or take them out. Yeah, so that's what I mean. So you take something like that, very successful business people are good about building a strong team, having people around. They don't have to do everything, right? Even, I don't want to bring him up, but love him or hate him, Donald Trump, right? Before he even gets in there, he's been announcing he's getting this guy for this guy for that. He's building his team because he knows he has 4 years to get what he can get done, right? There's not enough time in the week or years for any of us to get it all done by ourselves, right? Yeah. So the lone wolf or the small pack, that's only going to get you so far. So, but adding more people is more payroll. So that's where I would come into play for different businesses is I can provide service. It could be 1 hour.
Yeah.
It could be a week. It could be on retainer. It can be a repeat thing. See, what I learned is with my skill set, I can take someone from here to here, but eventually they may not need me anymore, right? Yeah. So then I'm in a position where, like, it's like,
well, I mean, let me not to cut you off, but I can get Steve in on this real quick because when we first started doing social media through Stout Lawn and Pest, we kind of hired out Chris Lurch, a local, he helped us out do social media. And I think Steve I think maybe like, I don't know, 2 months in, Steve, you were like, man, I could do this, right? Because we just needed the help to figure out not how to do it, but just seeing it being done. And then we're like, oh man, let's look into this and let's do it. I mean, that's kind of what you're thinking too? Is like,
because nobody owes anybody anything. If you're here and you're struggling, and I work with you for 3 years, at the end of it, I wouldn't turn around and say, you wouldn't have done that without me. It was a group effort.
Yeah.
I played my part, but you don't owe me anything.
Yeah.
Right? You hired me for a job. So, and then it's like I'm sitting around on payroll here, and you're like, man, this guy, he was awesome. Like, but do I really need him? Do I need him for X amount of dollars a year? Maybe I need him for this and this 3 or 4 times a month. But for me, that's where I'm setting myself up to not say I want to get a job, go work for a company, and eventually one day they may not need me. I might stick around. But for me, the exciting part of it is taking it from being small and growing it. Once it's up and running, and it can just run itself. I'm sorry, I'm going to face you, Pileggi. Once it's running itself, you almost feel lazy, like there's not enough to do. Like my work here is done. I'm kind of just here. I'm not excited because like this is working. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, no, I said this to you earlier, Finn. I think your business model is basically what your experiences were in your past roles, right? So in your last job, you built that part of the business. You kind of outgrew that role, and it just didn't work out in the end, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas now you can go to all these other different businesses, build out that role, kind of, walk away.
yeah.
Make a clean getaway.
Yeah,
right?
and always be there for them. If they need me, say, look, man, it's been 6 months. We're having issues with this. It's anything, too, with a business. There's just from logistics to hiring, HR. Like, there's pieces. Most of it comes down to money, numbers, production, and all that. But with any business, there's so many pieces of it. And you, too, as business owners, can only do so much every day.
yeah, I mean, you guys see.
It's definitely a unique business model I think you got going, Finn, because you could pretty much take it in any direction. Whereas, Chris and I, lawn care, pest control, that's our business, that's our lane. I don't see a lane for you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I love about it because it can be anything. What I think it is today, I'll get into something tomorrow. Somebody could approach me and say, you know what, like what you're doing. I've heard of you. I have had people reach out because, not that I know them personally, but just through the industry, right? Yeah. And they're like, I think I need some help with this, right? And I need some help with this. And it's just very open from up front.
Yeah.
I'll build the whole thing for you, get it up and running. We'll get you a manager in here. We'll have trainings. I can come in and check in on things time to time. You can run the HVAC piece and never even look at this.
Yeah.
And this is what I want for it.
Yeah,
right?
When running a small business, me and Steve get approached with, marketing companies coming to handle our marketing. It's a perfect example. Like there's a lot of companies out there that will, they say they're going to handle your marketing, they're going to handle your Google page, they're going to handle all that. Well, sometimes it just doesn't work, right? Because that marketing company, even though they say they're green industry or they say they're plumbing industry experts, they're really not experts on you and your company. And that's where I think Divine can be a little bit of like a kind of like a hybrid. And the next question I really have for you is like, what services do you have broken down services that you actually provide? I mean, you have to have some sort of, hey, this is, social media, or this is our, I don't know, hiring section. This is our employee retention section. This is our training area. So do you have some highlights of like different, people can say, you can say, oh, I can come do anything to your business. But people need a guidance of like what actually needs to be done to their business. So what are some of the services that Divine's going to offer?
If I try to narrow it down, you go to the website and you see the services we provide, right? There's a section there. Management consulting, right? Management consulting, business growth, improve your organizational structure, leadership, and management practices. We work with you to identify areas of improvement, develop a customized plan, and implement change to optimize your business, right? So with that, there's, like you said, okay, so if it's a plumbing company, right? Because that's my speed, right? So there's a plumber right now who started his business. He's got 2 or 3 guys. and he's running around every single day trying to get to do the water heaters, trying to do whatever he can to bring money in. He can't work on the business. He doesn't have the time. He wants to come up with a membership plan, right? He wants to do things to grow the business. Just like if you were out there right now and you were doing green grass every single day, not doing the stuff that you're doing in the office, whatever that might be, between marketing, social media, different things, just trainings, sales trainings, technical trainings, all the different pieces. Every single piece of that is important to grow a business, right? So if you're in the field every day doing all that, you're not growing your business. So you say, okay, before
the old adage is you can't work on your business if you're working in your business.
Exactly, right? So with that, people will tend to say, I got to hire a manager, right? I got to hire a marketing person, or I got to hire this person, right? And next thing you know, you got another $100, $150, $200, $300,000 on payroll. You got insurances, you got benefits, you got people you're dealing with every single day that's now on your team. And you might have needed them for 3 or 4 months. But now they're here on your payroll.
Or the other way to look at it is you are a bridge, right? You're a bridge to two things. So if I'm looking for, and I hear this a lot in our industry, is people hiring the next guy, whether that next guy or girl is an admin, or whether it's a new field supervisor, or whether it's a marketing company, right? What I always tell people is like hire that person, because they're gonna relieve so much stress and so much work off of your plate that you're really gonna be able to work on the business. You're gonna be able to look at the business instead of working in the business. And what I see from Divine is that you are a perfect gap for people that, or a bridge for people that don't necessarily have the $30, $40, $50, $60,000 to spend on a full-time employee. Maybe there's a role for Divine to take over and say, hey, we can help with some of your admin. We can help with some of your marketing plans. We can help with some of your training aspects. Am I understanding Divine? Is that where you're going with it?
It could be. That's what I like about it, is it can be different for any business. It's the needs. So me and you, I say, okay, let's sit down. We'll do a consultation, right? And you come to me with the issues that you have, things you're struggling on, working on. Because like I said, it all reverts back. Business is business. Companies are companies. They're all doing the same stuff, trying to figure out the same, how do we make more money? How do we get more customers? What are we doing? So me working on marketing, social medias, KPIs, numbers for the technicians, all this stuff, right? So your technicians go out there, they got to do so many plans, they got so many jobs, their goal is to hit this, do this, but you don't really have a design. That's a thing, too, that a lot of companies do. They don't have a business plan. They're very smart technically.
Well, I don't think business plans are right. I think you said it right when you just said it, design. They don't have it designed out right, like as a
defined organizational chart.
Yeah.
Exactly. So even that, so that's a piece of it. But if you're a plumber, and you're the best plumber at your company, and you say, I'm going to start my own business. He's never run a business. He's the best plumber, but he might put in 20 hours a day, and he's still not making money. He's working. He has no plan, right? So that's the thing. People get into a business, and part of me, too, is it's different for every business. So I'm not going to come to I'm not coming to every company like I'm going to save you. I'm here for support. That's what I'm here with. It could be different for every single business.
Yeah. Ever evolving.
It is. So I come to you, you say, we meet once a month, and I'm sitting here, you're like, what are you working on? Wow, we got this and this. I got this to get to. I can't do this. But I've been trying to work on this, and I can't get this done. Okay, well tell me more about it. Well, we got to do this, this, and this. And that my result is this. Then I do it for you.
Do you have these playbooks ready to go, like for training and aspects, or is this, because you have to be so fluid in your clientele, like Steve said, it's really your knowledge of what you've done in the service industry.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying too. Like I learned that what I was getting back to with the HVAC and the plumbing and the drain piece, we get so focused on, I spent 20 years doing plumbing. That's what I know. It's customer service is customer service. Restaurant business, doesn't matter what it is. You need to make more money. You need goals to hit. You have budgets. You have service plans, you have different things. Everybody's doing the same thing business-wise. Now, I have to educate myself on every business. I'm not going to come in here and tell you how to start that machine up. I don't need to know how to do that.
Yeah.
You're not struggling with how do I start this machine up and get out there and do that. You're struggling with making all the data analysis and everything make sense as a small bit. Before Steve got here, you were in a different place. When you started this out and you were trying to do everything,
100%.
you needed help.
Correct.
Right? And you might not have been in a position to hire somebody to help you.
Yeah.
But you needed help. You were running crazy. You weren't home. You didn't see the kids. You needed somebody you could trust to come in. Here's what I need done, and knock this stuff out. And if I'm not producing and I'm not doing it the way you want to do it, and it's not growing, it's not doing better, for you as a gamble, if you paid me $200 to work here for this, or you pay me $400 for this, you're not putting me on payroll. You're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not bringing me in. That's what people do. They do the hiring process. I'll hire for you. You tell me who you need in here. I need a guy that does this, this, and this. I'll put the ad. I'll create the ad for you.
Yeah.
I'll do the interviewing for you. Obviously, if that piece, if you're not hiring 20 people a month or something like that, and you just have a couple people here and there, then you might just want to be the one. I need to know this guy, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. For every business, is going to be different. There's the same stuff at any business that a business needs to structure and grow.
What do you, at this present time, what do you think the biggest thing that you see small businesses are struggling with? I mean, like I said earlier, I think the biggest thing that I see small business struggle with is taking the chance on another employee or another, hiring somebody else to take over something that you're doing. Yeah. What do you think people are looking for the most? A social media person, a know your numbers kind of guy, a training. I mean, is it all in one? But I mean, I think in our industry, the biggest thing that I see is employees, right? That's what everybody talks about. But me and Steve feel very fortunate that we don't struggle with finding employees. Mm-hmm. We haven't in 6 years, and I don't think, as we sit today, we have not struggled finding employees. So that's not an issue here at Stout Lawn and Pest. But knowing my numbers, sure. Could I get better at that? Should I be better at that? Absolutely. So what do you think is the driving force? What's the biggest thing you think you can help, or what do you see that people need help with?
Yeah, and like you said, the numbers piece, right? So even when you have a team of guys, right, a lot of times technicians are like in a technician mindset, right? They just think this place is making millions of dollars. You're keeping secrets or whatever, right, as the owners, right? They don't understand the cost and the different pieces, right? So you say, we look at your numbers, right? We look into everything.
We're making $40 million a year this year.
Okay, good.
Just
so exactly. So we're looking together at your numbers, what you spend versus what's coming in, right? And what kind of profit you're trying to make for the business, right? And you're looking at it, you say we're just coming up short. And then you start to break it down, like, why are you coming up short? And you really start to look at it, and your hourly rate just isn't enough. So there's businesses, they get into business, they say, well, this company charges $500, and this company charges $250. So I think I'm going to go around $350. But they haven't factored any other business costs. They haven't looked at any of it. So now they go a whole year charging $350. And in the end, they say, I just didn't get enough work, and they close up shop and they go work for another company. They do something else. They didn't set it up right from the beginning, right? So every business is different. Like I said, it's not like, oh, you're messing something up, I'm here to fix it. Oh, you don't even know my business. Who are you? Like, what is your credibility to come tell me? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm here as support, right? Because like I said, the lone wolf stuff and the small pack is only going to get you so far. If we sit down and we talk, and you say, this is what I'm struggling with, and I say, this is what I can help you with. I can do this, this, this. This is going to get you here. This is going to take this here. This is going to do this. Then we come up with an agreement on pricing, and that's that. If I sit with you and we're talking, and I say, you know what, I really don't think I'm going to be a help to you.
Yeah.
That's way too far out in a realm that I'm not familiar with, but I work with this guy, I can recommend him for you
Yeah.
or something. There's not going to be every project, but like I said, majority of any of this, when it comes down to it, for me to provide for my family today, divine business growth, I can link into a couple plumbing companies, and I'll make a living.
Well, Steve's been intertwined in this conversation that we've been having over the last couple of weeks, and you creating Divine. What's your thoughts on Steve? I mean, you have seen a lot of this stuff from the corporate side, and now you have seen it from the Stout Lawn Care side of what it takes to run a business from A to Z. What do you look at Divine? How I don't know. You've had a lot of opinions on this.
What do you think I should? What do you think I think Finnegan should do?
Yeah, basically. Not what I think he should do, but you've had a lot of thoughts on this, and where do you think businesses are struggling? Where do you think Finn could really benefit some companies?
Yeah, I mean, every business has struggles, and I think it's trying to identify those struggles and then where you can provide value, right? Everything we do, everything I do, I always try to look at it like, how does this provide value for a company? So if you can provide a value for a company, I think there's a niche for that, right? And no matter what that niche is, as long as you're providing a value, I think you're always going to have a market for that, right?
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah.
No, it's like, and that's why it's like sometimes you're like, well, what do you do? Like, I know through having conversations, meeting with different people, and I'm not trying to get 1,000 customers. Like, this is like something where 4 or 5 accounts. So like, because I got to be dedicated to the companies I'm working for. Like that's, and like you said earlier, it's like you see these things online, like the I don't want to call anybody out, but so like in plumbing, it's like $1 million. Read my book. I'll teach you the secrets to success. Like, there's no secret sauce.
There's no silver bullet.
It comes down to planning, the people around you, and executing.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so hard for you, Finn, to say what you do, right? Like,
Yeah.
Because you don't know. Like, you don't know until you actually talk to that
Yeah.
business owner. You don't know until you figure out where you're going to be providing that value.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's a very adaptable. You got to be very adaptable, I think, right? And you got to know your customer.
Yeah, and it's one of the things, like I said too, like just circling back to the plumbing piece, right? So an HVAC company, like I'm talking to an HVAC company, it doesn't do plumbing. Like with the licensing and everything, you got to get licensing to do plumbing, right? But besides that, it's very, when you have like the knowledge, all the years of experience, the books, the structures, everything, it's easy for me to sit with you. I'm Stout from Superstar HVAC, right?
Yeah.
And we're sitting there talking. And you say, I do this and this. I get the plumbing calls, and I'm turning them away. Like, people call me. I have repeat customers that love me. So in this day and age, there's 100 companies calling for HVAC. I'm competing with that. I'm getting calls for this, and I'm turning them away. It doesn't make sense to ever turn any business away, right? And unless you just don't do the business. But for that, he introduces one plumber, you get that growing, and next thing you know, like he has a plumbing department. It's another stream of revenue where it's not too far. He's already got trucks.
Yeah.
He's got the computer system. He's got the service titan, and he just adds another department, adds an employee, and he can start taking plumbing calls. And same thing with drain cleaning. Like it's about it. It seems like 2025 is really like additional streams of revenue. Every business is trying to say, like, I'm in a plumbing market. If you ask any SEO company, it is a tough market. There's 100 plumbing companies fighting over water heaters and toilets in Montgomery County every day.
Well, it's the same thing with lawn care, landscaping.
Right? So,
any service industry that there's always going to be the big boys out there. There's Horizon in our area, a huge plumbing company up and down the East Coast. Contractors. Mary Maid, if you're cleaning houses, there's a national company that cleans houses, right? It's really how you can differentiate yourself between those companies, and I hope Divine can find that, right? That would be a gold mine if you can go to each company and say, how can you be different? How can you succeed? Is it your training? Is it your marketing? what is it that we can help you differentiate yourself from everybody else?
And that's where like my background, like you had mentioned Horizon, right? So that's where I was at for years. And you said with them, I learned so much there. By the end of it, I feel like I got like a college degree being there. And what they did was they started a company. They're a $100 million company now. They had another location, and then they said we're going to go across.
Well,
the
when you
country.
were there, that's when they were really gobbling up smaller companies,
It's
right?
like when it started. So it was like we're like small. They're like smaller. They've always been successful before I even got there. But what I got to see, my piece, I got to see the real growth from being one company in Delaware, then it was PA, and then it was Jersey, and then they had purchased and built up a whole thing in Baltimore, and then they learned like we spent too much money on this, and we didn't get the return that we wanted. It was too much headaches. Then they got it. Okay, so now they're doing their acquisitions.
Oh,
and now,
yeah.
And this is what I got to see, right? So like part of like my background and my success personally is I got to see if you a big company like that, now they purchase a company, a $10 million company, right? And they just implement certain things that they weren't doing because they just didn't have the knowledge to do that. And now, a year later, it's a $20 million company.
Yeah.
2 years later, it's a 35, 3, and it's just implementing stuff that they didn't know you could do. So there's no secret sauce, but there is different things where somebody could come, a lawn care company somewhere in this country has some information that if you met with him and had a conversation, that would spark something in you.
Oh,
that would
100%.
help you, right? It's just getting.
There's
the
a million of
information
those
between
people.
the people.
It's just relaying the information, and and one of the things that in our industry, and like I said, HV and AC, there's a lot of private equity buying up these businesses. So, knowing what your business is worth, and continue to grow your business, so you're growing the worth of the company, right? Like it's not just I want to grow this massive company, but you gotta be thinking, all right, if I want to get out of this, how do I get out? How fast can I get out of this? And do my numbers work? And I guess that's where it comes down to like, is your business working for you? Is it sustainable? Is it, are you growing too fast? Are you growing too slow? All those factors come into play on when and how and why to run a business.
Yeah.
So, last piece, where did Divine Business, where did the name come from?
So I was really I had a lot of time off, and once I left the last company, I just jumped into this and decided to figure it out and meet with different people and learn from different people. I think one of the biggest things for me is the divine piece, and that does mean of God, right? So and just so people know, I'm not pushing my religion on anybody, but I think in this world, as people, we're so worried about what other people think. We're so worried about hurting feelings so for me, it's unapologetic that divine, it means of God. So that's where this business came from. So not to get on a rant on that, because I know even talking with you as one of my oldest friends, and both I'm not going to come here and start talking religion to you. That's not your thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't need to be apologetic about it. Right?
No.
So where I wouldn't bring it up around you because I'm well, that's really not his thing and it might get him upset or something. But going through this process, I prayed a lot. And that's, I'm unapologetic about it. Right? So I'm not going to say it doesn't mean I'm here to save people or teach people religion or anything like that. But that's of me.
You're talking about your religion and how it helped you is I think is fine. I don't mind listening to that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's just when you try to when people try to force a belief on you, I think that's what turns people off.
Yeah,
so
and
don't be apologetic, right? You could talk about your faith, how it helped you grow. And I don't think that's being invasive at all.
All right, cool. And my whole life, it's been in me, and I just felt like it rubs people the wrong way, or you might lose friendships.
Well, I think they think the next step is, he's going to try to get me into it.
Yeah, and that's never been about me. It's people say, well, why are you always happy, or what? I was like, oh, because of God, right? But I know what the truth is, and that's what's making me happy. But if I go and say that to you, like, I tried that and that didn't work for me. So, but and again,
it's finding your peace. It's finding your peace in whatever it is, right? People that know me know I'm not very religious at all. But that doesn't mean that I don't find peace in things, like in family and friends and podcasting. no, but like seriously, it's whatever makes you whatever makes you tick, right? And divine, when I heard the business, I knew divine as a religious term, right? That's all. As a non-religious person, that's all I knew of it. And I think of divine as like a spark or a light, right? And I guess that's kind of what it means. So like the meaning of divine, it's just like the meaning of stout, lawn, and past. It really doesn't mean anything. It's what's behind it, right? And if you're coming from a good place, from that, if you're coming from, you want to be a good person, you want to help these businesses, you want to be a good leader in the community, you want to be a good leader in your family, like that's really all that matters. And it can be of God, it can be of grass, it can be of sewer lines, it can mean anything, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're passionate about it, right?
That's why I love the phrase, because I wasn't coming out saying Brian's religious.
Well, it should be. Well, then it would be like "In God We Trust" business growth, right?
Yeah.
That would be a little aggressive.
But the thing too is like working in corporate America all these years, we're taught, like don't bring up politics, don't bring up religion. Yeah. You're gonna lose customers. It's me saying too, like I might not be for everybody, but I'm doing it my way, right? Yeah. I'm not apologetic, right? So if I'm not meant to work with everybody, I'm not trying to get every customer. Yeah. It's like they say too. Somebody told me one time, it was like the customer's always right and all this stuff, right? And you got to earn people's business. Once you start to get more confident and go along in your path, like people got to earn me working for them too, right? You can't treat me like shit and yell at me and all that just because you hired me. Yeah. I'm paying you this much money. I'm going to talk to you like shit. Like I'm past that point in my life, right? So everything about me might not be for everybody, and that's okay. I'm not trying to get every customer. I'm not, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at in my life. So I'm going to work for some people, and I'm not going to work for other people. I'm not just like sports. If I walk into somebody's house with a Steelers banner and the Eagles just won, it's not smart business to talk bad about the Steelers and how we just whooped on you. You could lose that customer. So there's certain things in business you got to be smart about and know when to talk about and all. But for me, that's what it was about. Nice. So plans for the future. I know obviously you're out, you're in the market. You got a website going up, divinebusinessgrowth.com. Yep. Is it? Yep. Yeah. Perfect. We'll put all this stuff in the show notes so people have it if they want to look up Brian. I think it's I think you got an uphill battle. I think once what I'm really excited about is getting your first couple customers. Like I said, I know a lot of people in our industry that could benefit from this, just help with their social media. I mean, that always comes to mind for me because it's like the hardest and the easiest one to do at the exact same time, right? It's having the time for it too. Like you say hire a whole company that does this, and then it's $6,000 for this package, and all. Yeah. When it really comes down to it, and I'm working for you, and you say, I need this campaign done, I need to do this, I need to see results, I need to see what it's doing for me, and I can do all that for you, and we can sit on. You know what I mean? Like it's more like an intimate thing too. Like, yeah. And I can't, and it's all like complete confidentiality too, because if I work for 10 different plumbing companies, people will be like, well, how do I know? Like I said, there's no secret sauce. Your struggles is different from this guy's struggles, and you break it down real simple. I'm not coming in changing your whole company. Like I said, it's more like support. Yeah. Hire a contractor for support, like in your business. Management for hire. You know, whatever you want to call it, without the payroll.
Yeah. So we're going to see you all over Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, if they don't ban it.
They might.
Didn't they already ban it?
I don't know. Are they banning it?
January.
That stinks for us because we like making videos with their platform. I don't care about TikTok or
CapCut's good though because are they getting rid of CapCut too?
Listen,
they're linked up together.
See, you start CapCut. I don't know what that means.
That's the easiest one.
Do you know what Perdime means?
No.
Exactly. That's why we need Divine Business Growth, because I have no idea what CAPCA and how to use CAPCA.
Yeah. But
I know what it is.
Yeah, I know.
I have no idea
but it's
how
the
to use it.
easiest one to use with like the best results. I mean, somebody that knows marketing and that's what they do every day is like, this guy's an idiot. You know what I mean? But it works for me and what I need for it.
Yeah, and what you're going to bring to people's tables, right? It's going to work for them. It's cool. Anything else to add, Mr. Pileggi? Mr. VP over there?
No.
COO?
No, it was a good conversation. Finn, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think for me the biggest thing is like on the way out here is whatever it is, like I know I wasn't meant to be in an office just working for somebody anymore. So I think that's the biggest thing people are like afraid of starting something. What if that fails? We're 43 years old. We got plenty of time. I'm in a different headspace now where this is going to do well. I know that. It's already, I have a couple clients already, and it's already, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the biggest thing for people out there is just being afraid to do something different outside the norm, leaving my job. It's comfort. I hate it. I don't like going to it. But when I got 20 years left, I got my pension. Like,
You got to believe in yourself. You gotta jump, man. I was on Green Grind, and they asked me that question, best business advice you ever got. And you got to jump, man. You got to do it. You got to believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it, and find people that can help you succeed. Because I know without Steve, without the knowledge that I've gained from my previous jobs, that I wouldn't be where I'm at Stout Lawn and be, at peace in my mind. Am I still running around like crazy trying to run a business and maybe shoot this or do this podcast every once in a while? It gets a little bit crazy, but I really enjoy it. So, Steve, Brian Finnegan, all the contact, divinebusinessgrowth.com, his Instagram handle, all the other things that you need to get a hold of Brian will be at the show notes. Find us on Instagram. Find us on everything. Rootzone, at the Rootzone Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Google, everywhere. Thanks for being a part of this, guys. Hope you guys have a great day.
thanks, buddy.
Thanks,
Now.
See you.